HMP Whitemoor is a high-security prison situated near the village of March in Cambridgeshire, England. Officially opened in 1991, it was constructed to house some of the country's most dangerous and high-risk offenders. The location itself was carefully selected for its relative isolation, offering both a strategic advantage for security operations and a buffer from surrounding communities. From the outside, the prison appears imposing and unyielding, with towering concrete walls and razor-sharp fences that immediately communicate the severity of the facility within. The early 1990s in the UK marked a period of increasing concern over terrorism and violent crime. In response, the government prioritized the creation of prisons capable of handling individuals who posed extreme threats to public safety. HMP Whitemoor was part of this initiative, a state-of-the-art facility designed not merely to contain criminals, but to do so in a way that minimized risk to staff, other inmates, and the general public. Its conception was influenced by lessons learned from earlier security failures, both within the UK and internationally, reflecting a growing emphasis on specialized high-security detention. Whitemoor's architecture is a testament to its security-driven purpose. The prison is divided into multiple wings and units, each constructed with reinforced concrete and designed to limit prisoner movement. Advanced surveillance systems, from CCTV cameras to motion sensors, cover virtually every corridor and outdoor space. The layout ensures that any attempt to breach security, whether through coordinated escapes or internal disturbances, can be quickly detected and addressed. It is a fortress in every sense, where even minor anomalies are treated as potential threats. The prison's population is carefully selected and monitored. Unlike standard correctional facilities, Whitemoor houses inmates who require heightened supervision due to their criminal history, risk of violence, or connections to organized crime and terrorist networks. The selection process is rigorous, with psychological evaluations, threat assessments, and intelligence reports guiding decisions about who is placed within its walls. This meticulous approach underscores the seriousness with which the UK treats the management of high-risk prisoners. From the moment an inmate arrives, the strict regime and structured routines become apparent. Movements are scheduled and supervised, interactions between prisoners are limited, and every action is closely observed. These measures are not arbitrary. They are born from necessity. The risk posed by Whitemoor's inmates is not theoretical. It is tangible, with potential consequences extending far beyond the prison walls. Staff are trained to anticipate the unexpected, ensuring that even the most sophisticated attempts at disorder are contained. HMP Whitemoor also represents a shift in how high-security prisons were conceived in the modern era. While older prisons relied heavily on sheer manpower and confinement, Whitemoor integrates technology, architecture, and intelligence to create a multi-layered security environment. It reflects an understanding that dangerous inmates require more than walls and guards. They require constant monitoring, behavioral analysis, and proactive management strategies. This approach has influenced the design of subsequent high-security facilities across the UK. Despite its intimidating exterior and tightly controlled interior, the prison's presence is known to the local community. Residents of Cambridgeshire are acutely aware of the facility, its purpose, and its population. While the prison is a source of employment and infrastructure, it also carries an underlying tension, a reminder that the threats housed within are very real. The surrounding area remains vigilant, with emergency planning and communication protocols in place should incidents arise. Over the decades, HMP Whitemoor has developed a reputation as one of the UK's most secure and carefully managed prisons. Its combination of isolation, design, technology, and regime ensures that it can contain individuals who would be unmanageable elsewhere. Yet, even with these measures, the prison's history reveals that no system is infallible, and the balance between containment and risk management is constantly tested. Whitemoor stands not only as a facility for incarceration, but as a symbol of the complexities inherent in controlling some of the most dangerous elements of society, HMP Whitemoor was conceived from the ground up as a high-security facility, purpose-built to handle the most dangerous offenders in the United Kingdom. Unlike older prisons that were adapted over time, Whitemoor's design was intentional, informed by decades of experience with escapes, riots, and violent incidents in other facilities. Every brick, fence, and corridor was carefully considered to prevent breaches and maintain order, reflecting a philosophy that architecture itself could serve as a critical component of security. The prison is divided into multiple wings, each designed with specific security protocols tailored to different categories of inmates. Reinforced concrete walls, high fencing topped with razor wire, and limited access points make unauthorized movement nearly impossible. These physical barriers are complemented by a complex internal layout that allows guards to monitor prisoner activity efficiently. Even the corridors are intentionally designed with choke points and surveillance coverage, ensuring that potential incidents can be quickly contained before escalating. Advanced surveillance technology is a cornerstone of Whitemoor's design. CCTV cameras monitor nearly every area, both inside the buildings and across the perimeter. Motion sensors, infrared detectors, and automated alert systems allow security staff to respond instantly to any irregularities. This combination of technology and architectural foresight creates a layered security system where human oversight and automated detection work together to maintain control. The design reflects an understanding that high-risk prisoners require constant monitoring to prevent violence or escape attempts. The prison's exercise yards and communal areas are deliberately small and segmented. Unlike open yards in lower security facilities, these areas at Whitemoor are designed to minimize interaction between inmates while still providing essential outdoor time. Each yard is closely observed from multiple vantage points, allowing staff to detect any signs of unrest or coordinated behavior. Even seemingly mundane spaces are infused with security measures, emphasizing that in a facility like Whitemoor, no area is left unguarded. Specialized units within the prison further enhance its purpose-built design. Units for terrorist inmates, high-risk violent offenders, and those requiring protective custody are physically separated to prevent conflict. Each unit operates under its own regime, with controlled movement and strict observation protocols. This separation allows staff to manage risks more effectively and ensures that prisoners with different security needs do not pose threats to one another. The design of these units reflects a deep understanding of the psychology of dangerous offenders and the dynamics of prison populations. Escape prevention was central to the planning of Whitemoor. Every aspect of the facility, from window placement to door construction, was engineered to make breakout attempts exceedingly difficult. Airlocks, reinforced gates, and controlled access points reduce the opportunity for prisoners to exploit vulnerabilities. Even supply deliveries and staff movements are designed to maintain strict security, with checks and protocols in place to prevent contraband or unauthorized items from entering the prison. The architecture itself becomes a deterrent to escape. The interior design also emphasizes observation and control. Guard stations are strategically positioned to maximize visibility, and movement corridors are designed to prevent blind spots. Staff can monitor multiple areas simultaneously, reducing the need for large patrol numbers while maintaining high levels of vigilance. This integration of design and operational procedure demonstrates a philosophy that security is not just a matter of personnel, but of creating an environment that actively supports control and safety. Whitemoor's purpose-built design reflects the evolution of modern high-security prisons. It combines physical barriers, technological systems, and operational planning into a cohesive whole, aimed at managing the most challenging prisoners. The facility stands as a testament to the meticulous planning and foresight required to house individuals who, by their nature, pose extreme threats. Every feature, from walls to surveillance networks, serves a singular goal: to maintain order and protect both those within and the society beyond its walls. HMP Whitemoor has long been associated with some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous and high-profile prisoners. The prison was specifically designed to house individuals who could not be safely managed in standard facilities, including violent offenders, organized crime figures, and convicted terrorists. These inmates are not only a threat due to their criminal history, but also because of their capacity to influence or manipulate others within the prison system. Whitemoor's purpose-built design ensures that such individuals can be confined safely while minimizing risk to staff and fellow prisoners. Among the prisoners held at Whitemoor have been those convicted of terrorism-related offences, including members of international extremist networks. These individuals are often highly intelligent, ideologically driven, and capable of orchestrating plots even from behind bars. Their presence has required the prison to develop specialized regimes, including segregation, constant monitoring, and highly controlled interactions with other inmates. The management of such prisoners is a delicate balance between maintaining security and upholding legal and human rights standards. High-profile violent offenders have also called Whitemoor home. These include murderers, serial offenders, and individuals with histories of extreme aggression within previous institutions. The prison staff must be trained not only in physical security, but also in behavioral management and psychological assessment, as these prisoners can be unpredictable and capable of manipulation. Their notoriety adds another layer of challenge, as they often attract media attention and public scrutiny. The presence of such inmates has occasionally created tension within the prison. Even among high-security prisoners, hierarchies and reputations matter, and notorious inmates often wield influence over others. Whitemoor's design and operational protocols are intended to prevent these dynamics from escalating into violence. Segregation units, strict routines, and monitored interactions help maintain order while reducing the potential for coordinated unrest or intimidation. Some inmates at Whitemoor have been involved in escape attempts or plotting from within the prison. Their criminal ingenuity often extends to testing the facility's security, forcing constant vigilance from staff. Each high-profile prisoner represents not just a physical risk but also a psychological one. Their actions can unsettle other inmates, challenge authority, and test the limits of even the most robust security measures. The notoriety of Whitemoor's inmates also affects the staff. Officers and management must operate under the awareness that any lapse could have serious consequences, ranging from coordinated violence to media scandals. This constant pressure requires not just technical skill, but resilience and mental fortitude. Staff training at Whitemoor includes simulations, intelligence analysis, and crisis management exercises designed to prepare them for interactions with some of the most dangerous people in the UK. Whitemoor's reputation as a prison for notorious inmates also serves as a warning and deterrent. For those convicted of serious crimes, the knowledge that they could be sent to a facility like Whitemoor unders the severity of their actions. The prison embodies a zero-tolerance approach to risk, signaling to both inmates and the public that the UK takes the management of its most dangerous criminals extremely seriously. Ultimately, the notoriety of the prison's population has shaped Whitemoor's identity. It is a facility defined not just by walls and security systems, but by the individuals it houses and the risks they present. The stories of these inmates, whether terrorists, violent criminals, or infamous escapees, continue to influence operational decisions, security upgrades, and staff training programs. Whitemoor's legacy is inseparable from the personalities and histories of those confined within its walls, making it one of the most scrutinized and strategically important prisons in the country. Despite its state-of-the-art security, HMP Whitemoor has not been immune to unrest. Over the years, the prison has witnessed several riots, each reflecting the challenges of managing some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous and volatile offenders. These incidents are rare, but they highlight the constant tension within the walls, a tension born from confinement, frustration, and the unpredictable behavior of high-risk inmates. Each disturbance has left its mark on the facility's operational history, influencing both policy and prison design. The causes of these riots are varied, but often rooted in inmate grievances. Complaints about restrictive regimes, lack of privileges, and long periods of isolation can escalate quickly in a high-security environment. Even small disputes over access to recreation areas or perceived injustices can trigger unrest among inmates accustomed to testing authority. In Whitemoor, where every action is monitored, the pressure of constant surveillance can amplify tension, creating a volatile atmosphere where minor incidents can escalate if not carefully managed. One of the most significant lessons from Whitemoor's history is that riots are rarely spontaneous. They are often carefully orchestrated, involving coordination among inmates who share grievances or influence over others. The prison staff must therefore be vigilant not only in monitoring behavior, but in interpreting subtle signals, unusual movement, whispered conversations, or changes in group dynamics that may indicate impending unrest. Preventing riots is as much about intelligence gathering as it is about physical control. During these disturbances, the prison's design and operational protocols are put to the test. Segregation units, reinforced gates, and strategic staffing become critical tools in regaining control. Officers are trained to respond swiftly, using a combination of negotiation, containment, and, when necessary, tactical intervention. Each riot serves as a real-world test of the facility's purpose-built security systems, reinforcing the importance of constant readiness and adaptability in high-security environments. The impact of riots extends beyond the immediate chaos. Even short-lived disturbances can result in property damage, injuries, and a heightened sense of tension among both staff and inmates. Whitemoor's management conducts thorough investigations after each incident, analyzing what triggered the unrest, how it was handled, and what measures can prevent recurrence. These lessons are integrated into ongoing staff training and operational adjustments, ensuring the prison evolves to meet emerging challenges. Media coverage of riots at Whitemoor has often heightened the sense of its notoriety. The public perceives these incidents as evidence of danger, reinforcing the image of the prison as a fortress that houses some of society's most extreme individuals. While the facility maintains strict control and transparency, each riot attracts attention, placing additional pressure on staff to demonstrate competence, authority, and adherence to safety protocols. Riots at Whitemoor have also influenced broader prison policy across the UK. Lessons learned from managing disturbances here have informed security upgrades, staff training programs, and even the design of newer high-security facilities. The prison serves as a testing ground for best practices in riot prevention, offering insights into how to balance inmate control with safety and human rights considerations. Ultimately, the history of riots at HMP Whitemoor underscores the delicate balance of managing a population of high-risk inmates. It reveals that even in a facility built with the latest security measures, human behavior remains unpredictable, and constant vigilance is essential. Each incident, no matter how contained, reminds us that the work of maintaining order in such an environment is ongoing, requiring skill, preparation, and an understanding of the unique pressures faced by both inmates and staff. HMP Whitemoor's reputation as one of the United Kingdom's most secure prisons is built on an intricate network of security protocols designed to control some of the country's most dangerous inmates. These protocols are far more than routine procedures. They are a carefully orchestrated system combining technology, staff training, and strict operational rules. Every action within the prison, from prisoner movements to staff patrols, is governed by these protocols, leaving little room for error. The perimeter security at Whitemoor is formidable. High walls topped with razor wire, reinforced gates, and surveillance towers create the first line of defense against escape attempts. Patrols are continuous, with security staff monitoring not only the exterior but also the immediate surroundings of the facility. Every entry and exit point is tightly controlled, and all deliveries or visitor access is subject to multiple layers of verification, reflecting a zero-tolerance approach to potential breaches. Inside the prison, security is equally rigorous. Movements between wings, exercise yards, and work areas are scheduled and closely supervised. Prisoners are often escorted by multiple staff members, and interactions are limited to prevent the formation of dangerous alliances or coordinated disturbances. The design of corridors and communal spaces ensures maximum visibility, allowing officers to detect even subtle signs of unrest or rule violations. Technology plays a central role in Whitemoor's security protocols. Closed-circuit cameras cover virtually every corner of the facility, with motion detectors and alarm systems providing real-time alerts for any unusual activity. The integration of these systems allows for rapid response to incidents, whether it be a fight, a medical emergency, or an attempted breach. Surveillance data is meticulously recorded and analyzed, providing both a historical record and insights for continuous improvement of security measures. Specialized protocols are in place for high-risk and terrorist inmates. These prisoners are often segregated and subject to constant observation, with controlled access to programs and minimal interaction with the general population. Their cells are designed to limit concealment of weapons or contraband, and all personal items are thoroughly checked. Staff are trained to recognize signs of radicalization, manipulation, or planning that could threaten the safety of others inside or outside the prison walls. Contraband prevention is a critical component of Whitemoor's security measures. All incoming materials, from food to personal items, are thoroughly inspected, and visitors are screened using metal detectors, X-ray scanners, and other security devices. Any breach, no matter how minor, is treated seriously, with immediate investigation and response. This vigilance extends to staff as well, who are monitored to prevent smuggling or lapses in protocol. Emergency response protocols at Whitemoor are detailed and rehearsed regularly. Staff undergo simulation drills for riots, medical crises, and escape attempts. Tactical units are ready to respond swiftly to any incident, with clear chains of command and communication strategies to minimize risk. These preparations ensure that, even under extreme circumstances, control can be maintained without compromising safety. The security protocols at HMP Whitemoor reflect a philosophy that containment is achieved through precision, planning, and layered defenses. They are designed not only to prevent escapes or violence, but also to maintain order, protect staff, and manage the unique challenges posed by the prison's population. By combining physical security, technology, and disciplined procedures, Whitemoor has established itself as a model of modern high-security incarceration, where vigilance is constant and every detail matters. HMP Whitemoor, with all its formidable security measures, has faced the ever-present challenge of escape attempts. While rare, these incidents have tested the prison systems and demonstrated that even the most secure facility must constantly adapt. Escape attempts are often meticulously planned, sometimes involving months of preparation, intelligence gathering, and exploitation of minor weaknesses. The very presence of high-risk inmates ensures that the potential for such attempts is always a factor in daily operations. In many cases, escape attempts at Whitemoor are detected before they can be fully executed. Staff are trained to recognize subtle signs of planning, such as unusual behavior, unauthorized communications, or attempts to manipulate fellow inmates. The prison's integrated surveillance system plays a crucial role, monitoring every movement and interaction. These measures allow for preemptive action, often halting plans before they can threaten the facility's integrity. Some attempted escapes have involved creative and daring methods. Historical incidents at other high-security prisons, which Whitemoor was specifically designed to prevent, included tunneling, smuggling of tools, and coordinated attacks on security personnel. At Whitemoor, the architecture, surveillance, and strict regime are designed to neutralize such tactics. Corridors and access points are monitored, and any attempt to exploit blind spots or weak points is immediately addressed. Escape attempts are not limited to physical breaches. High-risk inmates, particularly terrorist offenders, have attempted to orchestrate threats or manipulate external contacts from within the prison. Whitemoor's intelligence and monitoring teams work continuously to intercept these communications, ensuring that the prison's security extends beyond physical walls and into the digital and social networks of inmates. This multi-layered approach reflects the evolving nature of modern high-security management. The psychological aspect of escape attempts is equally important. Inmates who attempt to flee are often highly motivated, patient, and resourceful. Their persistence requires staff to remain vigilant at all times, reinforcing the need for continuous training, drills, and readiness. Every officer and member of the security team is aware that complacency can be exploited, and protocols are regularly reviewed to adapt to emerging threats or innovative schemes. Whitemoor's handling of escape attempts also involves post-incident analysis. Even failed attempts provide valuable intelligence on potential vulnerabilities and inmate behavior. These lessons inform improvements in physical security, staff deployment, and surveillance practices. By treating each incident as a learning opportunity, Whitemoor continuously strengthens its ability to prevent future breaches. The threat of escape shapes daily life inside the prison. Strict routines, controlled movements, and continuous monitoring are all designed to reduce opportunities for plotting or attempting flight. Even the smallest deviation from procedure can be a trigger for investigation, reflecting the zero-tolerance approach that underpins the facility's operations. For inmates, this creates a constant reminder of the difficulty of escaping, reinforcing the prison's reputation as nearly impossible to breach. Ultimately, escape attempts at HMP Whitemoor underscore the challenges of managing the UK's most dangerous prisoners. They highlight the necessity of an integrated, multi-layered approach to security, where architecture, technology, and human vigilance combine to maintain control. HMP Whitemoor is renowned for housing some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous terrorist offenders, making their management a cornerstone of the prison's operations. These inmates present unique challenges beyond those posed by violent criminals, requiring highly specialized protocols to mitigate both security risks and the potential for radicalization. Managing such individuals is not simply about containment. It is about understanding behavior, ideology, and networks of influence. From the moment a terrorist inmate enters Whitemoor, they are carefully assessed. Psychological evaluations, intelligence reports, and prior criminal history guide the classification process. Each prisoner is assigned to a unit that matches their security risk, with measures tailored to prevent contact with other inmates who could be influenced or recruited. Segregation is often used not as punishment, but as a preventative tool, reducing opportunities for plotting, manipulation, or coordinated violence. Daily routines for terrorist inmates are strictly controlled. Movement is highly regulated, interactions are limited, and time out of cells is carefully monitored. This regimented environment is designed to minimize risk, while still allowing access to basic rights and rehabilitative programs where appropriate. Staff maintain constant vigilance, observing behavioral patterns, detecting shifts in attitude, and intercepting any potential planning for escape or harm. Communication monitoring is another critical aspect. Terrorist inmates may attempt to contact individuals outside the prison to coordinate attacks or propagate ideology. Whitemoor employs rigorous systems to monitor letters, phone calls, and electronic communications, ensuring that the prison remains a secure environment and that external threats are neutralized. These measures are vital for maintaining public safety while containing high-risk individuals. Staff training is an essential component of terrorist inmate management. Officers and intelligence personnel receive extensive education on extremist behavior, radicalization signs, and psychological manipulation techniques. This equips them to anticipate potential threats, engage effectively with inmates, and de-escalate situations before they become dangerous. The human element is as critical as physical security in maintaining control over such a volatile population. Contraband control is particularly strict with these inmates. Items that could be used for communication, weapons, or facilitating escapes are tightly regulated. Every delivery, from food to personal possessions, undergoes thorough inspection, and any violation is met with immediate investigation. The emphasis on controlling potential tools for violence is central to Whitemoor's strategy in managing its terrorist population. Rehabilitation and monitoring programs are carefully designed for high-risk inmates. While the primary goal is security, efforts are made to engage with prisoners through education, psychological counseling, and controlled programs that reduce extremist thinking. These initiatives are highly structured, conducted under strict supervision, and often integrated into intelligence gathering to monitor ongoing risk and influence. Ultimately, the management of terrorist inmates at HMP Whitemoor demonstrates the complexity of modern high-security incarceration. It is a constant balancing act, maintaining containment, preventing radicalization, and ensuring safety for both staff and society at large. The prison's approach combines vigilance, intelligence, and strategy, reflecting a recognition that controlling extremist individuals requires far more than walls and fences. It demands understanding, foresight, and constant adaptation. The effectiveness of HMP Whitemoor relies heavily on the skill, training, and expertise of its staff. Managing some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous and high-risk prisoners requires more than authority. It demands a combination of tactical knowledge, psychological insight, and the ability to respond under extreme pressure. Each officer is trained to anticipate potential threats, assess risk in real time, and act decisively to maintain control and safety. Training at Whitemoor begins long before officers step onto the prison floor. Recruits undergo rigorous induction programs that combine theoretical knowledge with practical exercises. These programs cover everything from security protocol and emergency response to conflict de-escalation and behavioral analysis. Officers are educated on the psychology of violent and terrorist offenders, learning to recognize manipulation, intimidation, and early warning signs of unrest. Tactical readiness is a key component of staff expertise. Officers are trained in the use of specialized equipment, self-defense techniques, and rapid response strategies for violent incidents or escape attempts. Regular drills simulate riots, cell disturbances, and hostage scenarios, ensuring that staff can respond efficiently under stress. These exercises are designed to instill discipline, coordination, and confidence in both individual and team responses. Intelligence gathering and observation skills are also central to staff roles. Officers are taught to detect subtle behavioral changes among inmates, identify potential planning for riots or escapes, and gather actionable information. This analytical approach allows the prison to stay one step ahead, mitigating threats before they escalate. Staff must remain vigilant not only for overt acts of violence, but also for covert manipulation, which can be just as dangerous within the prison environment. Communication is another critical skill for staff at Whitemoor. Officers must coordinate seamlessly with colleagues, tactical units, and intelligence personnel, particularly during emergencies or high-risk operations. Clear, concise, and timely communication can be the difference between containment and catastrophe. Regular training emphasizes teamwork, protocol adherence, and the ability to make rapid decisions under pressure. Staff are also trained in the unique management of terrorist inmates. This includes understanding ideological motivations, monitoring radical behavior, and engaging in controlled interactions that reduce risk while maintaining operational oversight. Officers develop the ability to enforce rules firmly but fairly, minimizing resentment and tension while preventing manipulation and radicalization. Psychological resilience is essential. The intensity of working in a high-security prison like Whitemoor exposes staff to constant stress, potential threats, and the emotional weight of managing extremely dangerous individuals. Training programs include strategies for stress management, coping mechanisms, and peer support to ensure that staff remain effective and maintain their well-being over long-term service. Ultimately, the expertise of Whitemoor's staff is what allows the prison to function as a secure, controlled environment. The combination of rigorous training, tactical readiness, intelligence gathering, and psychological awareness ensures that officers can manage some of the nation's most dangerous criminals. Staff are not just enforcers of the law, they are the critical line of defense, balancing containment, safety, and the daily challenges of a high-security prison environment. Life inside HMP Whitemoor is defined by structure, routine, and constant observation. Unlike lower security prisons where inmates may experience greater freedom of movement, Whitemoor imposes strict schedules to maintain control and prevent unrest. From the moment prisoners wake, every aspect of their day is regulated, ensuring that staff can monitor behavior and minimize opportunities for conflict or misconduct. Morning routines begin early, with inmates required to remain in their cells until officially released for breakfast. Even these movements are supervised, with officers observing corridors, checking cell doors, and ensuring that all procedures are followed precisely. This rigid schedule sets the tone for the day, reinforcing both authority and security while minimizing opportunities for disorder. Education, work, and exercise programs are incorporated into daily life, but under strict supervision. Inmates may participate in vocational training, educational classes, or recreational activities, but these are tightly scheduled and monitored. Movement to these programs is controlled, often in small groups or individually, reducing the risk of collusion, intimidation, or planning for escape. Every interaction is a calculated balance between rehabilitation and security. Meal times in Whitemoor are similarly controlled. Food is delivered under strict supervision, and inmates eat in designated areas or their cells depending on their security classification. The design of dining areas limits crowding and ensures visibility, reducing opportunities for confrontation or planning. Even the distribution of meals is meticulously logged to maintain accountability and order. Time outside the cell, such as exercise or yard periods, is highly structured. The outdoor spaces are segmented into small yards, each closely monitored by staff and surveillance cameras. Inmates are allowed limited time to move freely, and interactions are carefully observed. This approach provides necessary physical activity while maintaining strict control over prisoner behavior. Communication between inmates is closely monitored. Conversations, letters, and visits are all subject to surveillance, with the goal of preventing coordination of illegal activity, radicalization, or manipulation. Officers are trained to interpret social dynamics, detect subtle signs of conflict or alliance building, and intervene when necessary. Every interaction is assessed for potential risk. Daily life at Whitemoor also emphasizes accountability. Inmates are expected to comply with rules, submit to searches, and report for scheduled activities. Non-compliance is met with immediate intervention, ranging from verbal warnings to segregation or other disciplinary measures. The constant reinforcement of rules ensures that the prison maintains control over its high-risk population. Ultimately, daily life in HMP Whitemoor is a careful balancing act between security, routine, and limited autonomy. Inmates live under near-constant surveillance, their movements and interactions tightly regulated, yet still afforded minimal opportunities for personal development and rehabilitation. This structure not only keeps the prison secure, but also reflects the reality of managing some of the nation's most dangerous and unpredictable individuals. Despite its high security measures, HMP Whitemoor remains a place where tension and potential violence are constant realities. The prison houses individuals who have committed extreme acts of crime, including murder, terrorism, and organized violence. This makes the environment inherently volatile, requiring constant vigilance from staff to prevent conflicts from escalating into serious incidents. Fights and assaults are among the primary concerns within Whitemoor. While the regimented routines and segregation measures reduce opportunities for direct confrontation, disputes between inmates still occur. These conflicts may arise from personal grievances, gang affiliations, or attempts to assert dominance within the prison hierarchy. Staff are trained to recognize early warning signs, such as threatening behavior, posturing, or the formation of alliances that could escalate into violent incidents. Terrorist inmates and high-risk offenders pose additional, unique threats. Beyond physical violence, there is the risk of ideological influence, radicalization, and manipulation. Inmates may attempt to recruit others or spread extremist views, creating tension and unrest within certain units. Whitemoor addresses this through strict monitoring, controlled interaction, and intelligence-gathering measures designed to neutralize threats before they manifest physically or socially. The presence of contraband is another source of danger. Items like makeshift weapons, mobile phones, or illicit substances can escalate conflicts or facilitate criminal activity inside the prison. Rigorous searches, surveillance, and monitoring programs are critical to ensuring that these potential tools for violence are intercepted before they can be used. Every delivery, visitor interaction, and internal transfer is carefully controlled to maintain security. Staff response to threats is highly organized. Officers receive training in conflict de-escalation, tactical intervention, and emergency response. In situations of escalating violence, rapid deployment of containment teams ensures that incidents are resolved quickly and safely. The goal is always to protect both staff and inmates while minimizing disruption to the daily routine and preventing wider unrest. The psychological tension within Whitemoor also contributes to potential threats. Inmates live under constant surveillance and tight restrictions, creating stress and frustration. This environment can magnify emotions, making conflicts more likely. Staff are trained to recognize not only physical aggression, but also behavioral cues that may signal psychological pressure building to a breaking point. Historical incidents within the prison demonstrate that even minor breaches in routine or vigilance can have serious consequences. Riots, assaults, and coordinated attacks have occurred in high-security facilities worldwide, and Whitemoor has implemented lessons from both its own history and external examples. Continuous review and adjustment of security protocols ensure that staff remain prepared for any eventuality. Ultimately, violence and threats inside HMP Whitemoor are a constant undercurrent that shapes daily operations. The prison's strict routines, surveillance, and highly trained staff form a delicate balance designed to prevent incidents while maintaining control. It is a daily reminder that even in the most secure facility, the human element, the unpredictability of behavior and intent, remains the greatest challenge. HMP Whitemoor has had a profound impact on the broader UK prison system, serving as a model for managing high-risk offenders and designing secure facilities. Lessons learned within its walls have informed policies, operational procedures, and training programs across the country, shaping how modern high-security prisons function. Whitemoor's experience demonstrates that innovation, vigilance, and adaptability are essential for maintaining control over the most dangerous prisoners. The operational protocols developed at Whitemoor have influenced the design of other high-security facilities in the UK. Segregation units, controlled movement regimes, and integrated surveillance systems have been replicated in newer prisons, reflecting the effectiveness of Whitemoor's approach. These design principles ensure that security is not just about physical barriers, but about the strategic use of space, technology, and staff deployment. Staff training programs across the UK have also benefited from Whitemoor's experience. Officers in other facilities receive instruction on intelligence gathering, handling high-risk inmates, and conflict de-escalation techniques that were pioneered at Whitemoor. The prison has become a benchmark for excellence in managing violent offenders, emphasizing the importance of preparation, discipline, and situational awareness in high-security environments. Whitemoor's history of riots and escape attempts has provided valuable case studies for the UK prison system. Each incident offers lessons on risk assessment, emergency response, and operational improvement. Policies developed in response to these events have helped other facilities anticipate and prevent similar occurrences, enhancing overall security nationwide. The prison serves as a testing ground for methods that balance containment, safety, and rehabilitation. The presence of terrorist inmates at Whitemoor has also shaped national counter-terrorism strategies within prisons. Techniques for monitoring extremist behavior, preventing radicalization, and safely managing high-risk offenders have been disseminated throughout the system. Whitemoor's protocols demonstrate how intelligence-driven management can reduce threats both inside prisons and in the wider community. Whitemoor has also influenced regulatory oversight and inspection standards. Lessons from the prison have informed guidelines for evaluating security, staff performance, and inmate management. Independent inspections and audits incorporate criteria pioneered at Whitemoor, emphasizing accountability, vigilance, and proactive risk management. These standards have helped elevate the overall quality and safety of high-security prisons across the UK. The prison's operational innovations have not only improved security, but have also highlighted the importance of balance between containment and human rights. Whitemoor's example shows that even high-risk prisoners require access to structured routines, rehabilitation opportunities, and legal protections. This dual focus has informed UK prison policy, ensuring that security measures do not override ethical and legal responsibilities. Ultimately, the impact of HMP Whitemoor on the UK prison system extends beyond its walls. It serves as a reference point for managing extreme risk, training staff, and designing facilities capable of containing the most dangerous individuals. Its experiences, both successes and challenges, continue to shape how the United Kingdom approaches high-security incarceration, making Whitemoor a critical pillar in the evolution of the nation's prison strategy. Life inside HMP Whitemoor exerts a unique psychological pressure on both inmates and staff. For prisoners, the constant surveillance, strict routines, and limited autonomy create an environment of unrelenting mental strain. Every movement is observed, every interaction monitored, and every action recorded, fostering a heightened sense of tension that can amplify emotions and trigger behavioral responses. Inmates at Whitemoor are acutely aware of the risks and limitations inherent in their environment. For high-risk prisoners, particularly terrorists or violent offenders, the awareness that any misstep could result in further isolation or disciplinary action creates a persistent psychological burden. Even daily routines, which provide structure and predictability, can also serve as reminders of confinement, reducing morale and increasing frustration. For staff, the psychological pressure is equally intense. Officers must remain vigilant at all times, anticipating threats, detecting subtle signs of unrest, and responding rapidly to incidents. The knowledge that a lapse in attention could result in serious injury, a riot, or an escape attempt places immense responsibility on every member of the prison team. Stress management and mental resilience are critical components of effective staff performance. The psychological tension within the prison also stems from the interactions between inmates. Even within segregated or high-security units, rivalries, intimidation, and influence dynamics create a constant undercurrent of stress. Staff must navigate these dynamics carefully, ensuring that the social environment does not escalate into violence or manipulation. Observation and intelligence gathering are crucial to maintaining control. Terrorist inmates contribute an additional layer of psychological complexity. Their ideological convictions and strategic thinking can create manipulation attempts, coercion, or attempts to incite unrest among other prisoners. Staff must remain constantly alert to such attempts, understanding that the mind can be as powerful a weapon as any physical tool. Maintaining authority while preventing radicalization requires careful balance and psychological insight. Isolation and segregation, essential for security, further intensify psychological pressure. Extended periods of confinement can lead to anxiety, depression, or aggression among inmates. The prison must monitor mental health closely, providing access to counseling, medical care, and controlled activities to mitigate extreme stress while maintaining safety. These measures are crucial to preventing incidents that could compromise security. Even the prison's design contributes to psychological pressure. Narrow corridors, high walls, surveillance cameras, and the absence of privacy create a constant sense of being watched. For staff, the need to remain alert in such an environment demands focus and discipline. For inmates, it serves as a continuous reminder of their restricted agency and the control exerted over every aspect of their lives. Ultimately, psychological pressure at HMP Whitemoor is a defining characteristic of life within its walls. It shapes behavior, informs security protocols, and influences the interactions between inmates and staff. Understanding and managing this pressure is essential to maintaining order, preventing violence, and ensuring that the prison operates safely despite housing some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous individuals. Since its opening in 1991, HMP Whitemoor has continuously evolved to meet the changing demands of high-security incarceration. The prison was designed as a state-of-the-art facility, but experience has shown that no security system remains effective without adaptation. Over the decades, Whitemoor has upgraded technology, refined protocols, and incorporated lessons learned from both internal incidents and international best practices. Physical security measures have been strengthened over time. While the original design included reinforced walls, razor wire, and controlled access points, subsequent enhancements have added new layers of protection. Modern surveillance systems with high-definition cameras, motion detectors, and automated alert systems allow staff to detect and respond to potential threats more efficiently than ever before. These upgrades reflect the dynamic nature of security, where technology and strategy evolve in tandem. Procedural evolution has been equally important. Whitemoor has continually refined its operational protocols, incorporating lessons from escape attempts, riots, and other disturbances. Movement schedules, interaction rules, and emergency response procedures are regularly reviewed and adjusted to anticipate emerging risks. This iterative process ensures that the prison maintains its ability to manage the most dangerous and unpredictable inmates safely. Intelligence gathering and behavioral monitoring have also advanced. Modern tools allow staff to track not only overt behavior but subtle patterns that may indicate planning for violence, escape, or radicalization. This intelligence-driven approach enhances proactive management, enabling staff to intervene before threats escalate. The integration of data analysis into daily operations represents a significant evolution in the way high-security prisons operate. Staff training has adapted alongside these changes. Officers are continually updated on new technologies, threat detection techniques, and behavioral management strategies. Simulation exercises now incorporate scenarios based on past incidents and emerging trends, ensuring that personnel remain prepared for evolving challenges. This evolution underscores the importance of human expertise in maintaining security alongside technological tools. The management of terrorist inmates has also influenced security evolution. As extremist behaviors, recruitment methods, and communication technologies have changed, Whitemoor has adjusted its protocols to mitigate these risks. Segregation strategies, communication monitoring, and rehabilitation programs have evolved to address both current threats and potential future scenarios. This demonstrates that security is not static, but must respond to the behavior and capabilities of inmates. Collaboration with other high-security institutions and law enforcement agencies has further enhanced Whitemoor's security. Sharing lessons learned, intelligence reports, and tactical strategies ensures that the prison remains at the forefront of best practices. This networked approach allows Whitemoor to benefit from innovations elsewhere and to contribute its own experience to the wider UK and international prison community. Ultimately, the evolution of security at HMP Whitemoor highlights a core principle of high-security incarceration. Vigilance is continuous, and adaptation is essential. The prison systems, protocols, and staff training have developed in response to real-world challenges, ensuring that the facility remains capable of safely containing some of the United Kingdom's most dangerous and high-risk inmates. Security at Whitemoor is not merely a set of measures. It is a constantly evolving philosophy of control, intelligence, and resilience. The HMP Whitemoor's foremost responsibility extends beyond the walls of the prison. It is charged with protecting the public from some of the most dangerous criminals in the United Kingdom. Every security measure, operational protocol, and staff procedure is designed with this singular purpose in mind. The prison serves as a critical barrier between offenders capable of extreme violence and society at large, ensuring that public safety remains paramount. The containment of high-risk inmates, particularly those convicted of terrorism or serial violent offences, is central to this protective role. By managing these individuals under stringent conditions, Whitemoor reduces the risk of re-offending or orchestrating criminal activity outside the prison. Even minor lapses could have serious consequences, which is why staff remain vigilant 24 hours a day, monitoring every movement and interaction. Whitemoor also contributes to public safety through its intelligence operations. Staff work closely with law enforcement and national security agencies to monitor threats originating from within the prison. Letters, phone calls, and electronic communications are scrutinized, ensuring that no plans to harm society can be executed. This proactive approach extends the prison's protective reach far beyond its physical boundaries. The prison's design further supports public protection. Reinforced walls, multiple security layers, and controlled access points prevent escape attempts, ensuring that offenders remain securely confined. The facility's high-tech surveillance and alarm systems allow rapid detection of any breach, minimizing potential risks to surrounding communities. Every structural element reinforces the prison's role as a safeguard against dangerous individuals. Education and rehabilitation programs, while secondary to security, also play a part in protecting the public. By offering controlled opportunities for skill development, psychological support, and de-radicalization, Whitemoor helps reduce the long-term threat posed by its inmates. These programs are carefully managed to ensure they do not compromise security, but they also reflect an understanding that effective public protection can include reducing the likelihood of future criminal behavior. The staff at Whitemoor are acutely aware of the weight of this responsibility. Officers must maintain constant vigilance, manage high-risk inmates, and respond swiftly to incidents, all while understanding that their actions have direct implications for public safety. The psychological and operational demands on staff underscore the seriousness of the prison's mission beyond the confines of its walls. Public protection also drives continuous improvement at Whitemoor. Lessons learned from security incidents, intelligence reports, and evolving criminal behaviors inform upgrades to protocols, technology, and training. By remaining adaptable, the prison ensures that it can continue to effectively safeguard society against an ever-changing spectrum of threats. Ultimately, HMP Whitemoor's role in public protection is inseparable from its identity as a high-security prison. It stands not merely as a place of confinement, but as a critical component of national safety infrastructure. Through meticulous management, intelligence operations, and unwavering vigilance, Whitemoor ensures that the threat posed by some of the UK's most dangerous individuals is contained, and the public remains protected. HMP Whitemoor has earned a reputation as one of the United Kingdom's most secure and formidable prisons. Its legacy is shaped not only by the high-profile and dangerous inmates it houses, but also by the innovative strategies and security measures implemented over decades. The prison is widely regarded as a benchmark in high-security incarceration, influencing both domestic and international approaches to managing high-risk offenders. The prison's reputation is reinforced by its ability to contain individuals who would be unmanageable elsewhere. Whitemoor's strict routines, segregation strategies, and advanced surveillance systems have successfully prevented escapes and minimized violence, even among some of the most notorious criminals in the country. Its operational success has cemented its image as a facility capable of handling extreme threats with precision and control. Incidents such as riots, attempted escapes, and intelligence-driven interventions have contributed to Whitemoor's notoriety. While these events highlight the inherent challenges of managing dangerous inmates, they also demonstrate the prison's resilience and adaptability. Each challenge has been met with lessons learned, leading to improvements in security measures, staff training, and operational protocols, further strengthening its legacy. The prison's management of terrorist offenders has significantly influenced its reputation. Handling individuals involved in extremist networks requires sophisticated intelligence, psychological insight, and strict operational control. Whitemoor has become a reference point for best practices in managing such inmates, shaping policies for other high-security facilities both in the UK and abroad. Staff professionalism also contributes to the prison's standing. Officers and management at Whitemoor are recognized for their expertise, training, and dedication to safety. Their ability to manage a volatile population while maintaining order has earned the facility respect within the corrections community and among national security agencies. The human element, discipline, vigilance, and experience has been central to Whitemoor's legacy. Whitemoor's influence extends beyond its walls. Lessons learned in intelligence gathering, behavioral management, and emergency response have informed the broader UK prison system. Its innovations have shaped policy, design, and staff training across the country, establishing Whitemoor as a model of high-security prison management. The prison's experience demonstrates that effective containment requires a combination of infrastructure, technology, and human expertise. The facility's reputation is also intertwined with public perception. Media coverage, high-profile inmates, and the occasional disturbances have created a public image of Whitemoor as a fortress for the nation's most dangerous criminals. While the focus is often on security, the prison's legacy includes its contribution to public safety, operational excellence, and the continuous development of best practices in corrections. Ultimately, HMP Whitemoor's legacy and reputation are defined by its enduring commitment to safety, security, and professional management. It is more than a prison. It is a symbol of modern high-security incarceration, demonstrating how careful planning, innovation, and vigilance can contain extreme risk. The lessons learned within its walls continue to shape the future of the UK prison system, ensuring that Whitemoor's influence will be felt for generations to come.